Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we are on the eastern coast, just south of Jamila's Liberty, on the hills building a Tower of Heaven. This build was suggested by Roanoa Zorro 014 on my Yamatai base build guide. This build suggestion was fairly open, as Roanoa basically narrowed it down to just a tall tower. There are a wide variety of things you could use a tower like this for, however I've chosen to make it something of a ritual site. The tower is going to be very architecturally complex within, or at least it will look that way, but generally the tower doesn't really have any real complex purpose. Again, you could do a wide variety of things with this design, and it's all really down to what you want to do with it. Roanoa asked for this tower to be built using the Frontier DLC, which is what we'll be doing, but this sort of tower could work very nicely with many different pieces, especially black ice. I think black ice would look very nice in the north. So, without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, we are going to start by laying down our base plate, which will be a 4-stage circle. If you don't know how to build circle platforms out that far, just watch this section of the video and all will become clear. Circular platforms are very simple and straightforward and are probably one of the easiest things to build. I built this platform 2 foundations high on the perimeter, leaving the inner section 1 tile high aside from the 6 wedges in the centre, which I also brought up to the 2 tile height. I then used regular and wedge ceilings to create a walkway between the centre and the perimeter, placing 2 walkways on either side, allowing for some interesting floor variation. I wasn't yet sure what I would do with this section, but I managed to find something interesting to do with this area, as you'll see later. Next, for the walls. After covering all the foundations with regular Frontier walls, I set myself some base rules. Each floor would have a full perimeter of frames 1 tile high, with every other wall section above and below it being just regular Frontier walls. With this rule in mind, I then continued to build the walls of the tower up, running stairs up the walls of the tower in a fashion you've probably seen me do many times, with the stairs sitting above the square foundations, and each stair set connected by wedge ceiling pieces above the wedge foundations. I then reached the first floor, which will be mimicking the style of the ground floor, just with a different pattern, which will be the case for the subsequent floors after this. To support this ceiling I had to use pillars, which I could stretch from the sunken section below the walkways to the ceilings above, though I did later have to adjust the positioning of 2 pillars on the sides to ensure symmetry. As you can see, I then used pillar supports to create the first floor, which has a hollow section between the walkways, but is not as open as the ground floor. Above the first floor, I then reduced the size of the tower by 1 tile all the way around, by placing a ring of ceilings mirroring the foundations below, and then using roof pieces to create a slope on the outside, smoothing out the transition in size. I then built the walls up even further, heading to what would now be the second floor. I again tried to use a style similar to the floor below, though I would use this floor to extend the tower back out to its original size. I built pillars from the centre of the first floor up to support the second floor, again creating a floor with hollow sections. I went back outside and again used roof pieces, this time flipping them backwards to create slopes to smooth the size transition. I then built the walls up again, using door frames to allow access to the balcony section, whilst keeping the walls at the same restriction as the floor below. I then went back down and covered all of the hollow sections over with fences to add some more visual detail and improve safety. Finally, the roof. If you've ever seen me build a circular roof before, you know exactly what's coming and you know how easy it's going to be. If you're unsure what you're doing and you've never built a circular roof before, just follow along with the video and you'll have it done no problem. I did again have to support a ceiling section that I could properly hold up the roof with, which I did by using 6 pillars in the centre of the second floor. This allowed me to cap off the roof with 6 wedges and finish off the build section. Finally, when the shell of the build was done, it was then time to of course furnish. As I said earlier, the build is designed as a monument and ritual site, and therefore isn't really heavily decorated too much, as I felt the architecture had managed to do most of the heavy lifting aesthetically. I did manage to sink a sanctum of set into the floor on the ground floor to allow for this statue of the snake in the centre of the build. I did this by using ghost mode to disable player collision, though you could do this without ghost mode by just making sure you're not stood anywhere near the clipping box of the shrine you're trying to place, otherwise it just won't place down. I also spawned in and placed a priest to set down there to watch over the shrine, which creates the beam of light that penetrates the entire build. Throughout the build I have placed benches to give the build a hint of the purpose as a gathering place, without it being too obvious what sort of bizarre rituals would happen within this tower. I also placed a lot of torches up and down the walls at regular intervals. This doesn't really provide that much light to the build, seeing as the size of it versus how much light the torches give off is quite simply just not enough to make a difference. However, it does look nice, and the aesthetic pattern of the lights like this improve the build slightly. Finally, the balcony on the top floor is incredibly high above the sea level, and gives an impressive view out to the scattered islands, along with across to Jamila's Liberty and the forgotten city of Zelha. And there we have it, a Tower of Heaven on the eastern coast of the map, just south of Jamila's Liberty. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Rorona for the suggestion. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, and let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions for future builds. I'm always open to ideas, so feel free to suggest anything you want using mods or otherwise, and I'll give it a go. Don't forget to join the fun on our Discord through the link in the description, and if you'd like to support the future of this channel, the link to my Patreon is also in the description below, with various tiers and rewards from special Discord roles, sneak peeks at new videos before anyone else, your name at the end of videos, and more. On that note, a thanks to our patrons Sammy, Doomshade and Dawnfox. If you're new here, feel free to check out the rest of the content on the channel. There are plenty more Conan Exiles videos coming every Wednesday and Sunday, so if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when I go live on Twitch, to be the first to see the next video, and to join us on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.